That time, I didn't know anyone. I couldn't talk to anyone about it because I didn't know how to express my emotions. When I started writing songs and then I'd let my friends hear it, they started telling me na somehow I feel comforted that you put into words what I couldn't. That just drove me to doing it more. If you feel like you're just on rock bottom, the moment that you feel validated, the moment that you feel that you heard, seen, and loved, you suddenly start rising again. You suddenly start standing up again for yourself, for your calling. And somehow I wanted my songs to empower people enough to show them, okay, this is the pain. You're not alone in it. I get you. Now go. Hindi ako validated. Feeling ko mali lang ako. May mali akong ginagawa. Pero hindi ko naintindihan na chemical imbalance na pala siya. Na may nangyari pala in the past na validates me to feel the same.
I know a lot of us feel lonely. Ang daming tanong na walang sagot, especially now. But just knowing that there's one person who has never left our side gives me so much peace.
Where you weren't treated right, you weren't treated with respect as artists. But it's okay. At the end of the day, if God gives you the stage, you go there and you give your best and you're just excellent. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the money. It's not about how people treat you, but it's about how you treat others and how you spread the hope that you're meant to spread. I had a difficult childhood early. I was 12. Ang dami ko pong insecurities na binato. And so mentally, it was a little rough.
Only child po kasi ako ng parents ko. And both of them have started their own families. I have 2 sisters with my mom and 2 sisters and 1 brother with my dad. All of them are half. I'm not a full sister to anyone.
Around 18, 19, when I attempted to live my own life.
Kung meron kang taong pinatawad na sa buhay mo, sino yun?
I think it's my parents and myself.
Gave yourself for?
I was very mean to myself. I always blame myself for not being enough. Kaya, naghiwalay yung parents ko. I think a lot of my pain and my depression, a lot of it was self-inflicted because there were so many things that kung hindi ko siya ma-process, kasalanan ko na lang. Ang tanga-tanga mo kasi, why didn't you do this? Oh, you could have done this. I'm very hard on myself. Blamed myself for a lot and I blamed my parents also for a lot. But I know also that everything happens for a reason, and if bad things happen, God turns it into good.
I started singing in church. I started writing. I was 12. Was meant to be an outlet. I was going through stuff. I was anorexic, a broken family, and I didn't know what I was going through at that time. Wala akong ibang outlet. And it also happened to be the time that my dad taught me my first 4 chords. And so after that, I was listening to Brooke Fraser. And she was my favorite. And I remember she wrote this line. And she said, if I add, if I subtract, if I take it all, try to win some back, I've forgotten the freedom that comes from the fact that you are the sum and you are the one I want. And then I realized, like, when I was listening to that song just gave me so much freedom. How much more if I write it? How much more if the words came from my heart? And so that's when I started my therapy of songwriting.
Darkest times, during those darkest moments in your life, you were able to find music as a way of coping up and healing yourself. Parang yun ang ginawa mo.
It's so hard to imagine that you were once insecure of your voice.
I still am. Alam mo po yung constant battle of not comparing yourself.
I remembered that the reason why I started writing my own songs anyway was because I couldn't sing the other people's songs because it's too high, it was too low, and my voice is in a weird level.
May time, si Moira set, nag-rehearse siya, nakaupo, nag-whistle. Sabi ko, di ko kaya yan. Ayoko dito. For a long time, I had an identity crisis because I felt like what I liked singing wasn't accepted. And nafa-frustrate ako kasi lahat ng kanta halos hindi ko abot, or I have to change the key. At that time, I didn't have a band. I didn't know you could transpose. It was just the -1 on your cassette tape and that's it. That's all you have to sing. Ang hirap mahalin ng sarili kapag hindi mo maabot yung gusto mong maabot. You know, it's so hard to accept myself or empower myself when when I couldn't be who everyone wanted me to be.
Yeah.
And then that's what actually drove me to write my songs even more. Because at least abot ko. Kontrolado ko yung key, yung words, yung lahat. I realized also, how will I empower people to be themselves if I try to change myself? And so it's been a great season of just loving God more so I can learn to love myself.
If before my insecurities used to tie me down, now it's just something I coexist with. It has no power over me anymore.
You know, before you became this famous, ang dami mong pinagdaanan.
In the middle of college, I joined a competition. Backstage po, binibisa nila kami. Tapos, may gusto po silang pasuot sa akin na hapit na dress. Hanggang dito lang. Tapos may mga ruffles. Tapos spaghetti. Eh, syempre, church kid ako, Miss Karen. So, medyo conservative ako. Sabi ko, pwede pong iba na lang. Sabi niya sa akin, reklamo ka, hindi ka magsisi. Tapos ngayon, nakakasalubong ko po siya.
At anong sinabi mo?
Wala po. Baka may pinagdadaanan lang siya. Here in Cornerstone, they would send there was one time, pinadala nila 11 of us, all of the same age, to do a audition for Idol, for Ate Sarah's teleserye before. And then all 10 of them got in except for me. Tapos, syempre parang for a young person, sakit nun kasi yung rejection from before na naramdaman ko, yung pag-separate ng parents ko, parang nag-translate siya as rejection. I lost to that audition.
You were up against.
Cara and Penelope.
So, was that your very first big competition na sinalihan?
I only joined once. The Voice lang.
Oh. So that was your first and the last.
First and the last.
Grabe
I'm not
naman.
competitive kasi. I don't like competition. But at that time, I really didn't like competitions. And when they told me to join The Voice, I thought that the whole competition nakatalikod sila. But after one turn, they were gonna face you the whole time, and I was too nervous. I didn't like competition. It was amazing that from being in a competition and only surviving until the second round, I feel like I just wanted to move forward kasi for a long time before that, walang nangyayari in my career. I felt like this could be it. So it was really painful when I didn't make it.
Si Moira ay isa sa mga patunay na kahit hindi ka man manalo sa isang competition, the competition will not define your career.
Yes.
Na kung ikaw man ay na-eliminate, ikaw man ay natanggal sa isang competition, don't end the journey just because that competition did not appreciate your talent or it wasn't your best performance. Because napakadami din na artist na hindi naman nanalo pero nag-excel kasi tinuloy nila yung pangarap nila.
Dami pong moments na akala ko tapos na, pero bagong simula lang pala. When I lost the voice, I thought it was done. But God was just starting.
And then God said, rejection doesn't define my plans for you.
Yeah.
Rejection doesn't define what I have for you. Competitions, they don't define the big plans that I have for you. I do. And he said, you don't even pave your own way. I pave your way. All you have to do is follow.
When did you feel na you made it? Yung your way past yung umaakyat?
Actually, ate, feeling ko hindi ko pa na... Parang never nagsisink in sa akin lahat. Pero ang galing ni God kasi hindi pala yun yung idol na para sa akin. Ibang idol pala.
Idol na pinuntahan mo, ikaw na yung judge. Hindi mo kailangan mag-audition. Imagine mo that from being casted out dun sa sing-off to becoming a judge. Parang nararamdaman ko yung sakit ng kahit hindi mo i-detail. Kasi mahirap ang rejection dito sa business nito.
Parang in disbelief pa rin ako.
Alam ko na yung feeling mo. You're so used to the feeling of losing that you don't know how to handle winning.
Yes.
Yung sanay ka kasi, di ba, na wala. Kaya nung meron. Tapos puro meron ka na ngayon. Meron ulit.
There was one time in particular, I think it was in Bago. Tapos, I stood on stage. Wala pang tumutugtog. Kumakanta na sila. First time may nangyari sa akin na walang intro, wala akong kinakanta. Biglang kinakanta na nila lahat. Medyo nag-sink in sa akin na, paano nila alam yung mga kanta ko. And then, naiyak ako. Nami-miss ko kasi yung audience. And then, when we did Araneta concert, hindi siya nagsisell out for 3 months, 4 months namin siya pinroom. And it was my first Araneta concert. Pero slow. So, okay na sa akin. Sabi ko, Lord, basta makakatungtong ako sa Araneta. Basta masasabi ko na nag-Araneta ako. 2 weeks before, 30% pa lang nabibenta. Kahit isang tao lang yung pumunta dyan, or kahit 10 lang sila, okay na sa akin kasi I know that I'll get to inspire at least 1 person or 10 people. And then, day of September 14, I go backstage and then I go on stage and it was sold out. Siguro a few moments lang na nagsisink in siya na ito yung reality. But that was one of the most
Winning moments.
the most victorious moments of my life when I got to sing in front of 10,000, 9,000 people in Araneta.
Ano yung ma-advise nyo sa tao na hinihintay pa yung ika nga break nila sa buhay, na yung chance nila to show their talent, to show what they're made of?
Do your best where you are and love yourself where you are. It's easy to love ourselves when we're pumped and starting. Easy to love ourselves when we've finished the goal and everyone's cheering. Easy to love ourselves when we're in the middle of the desert waiting for a mountain that you had then and the worth that you will have in the future. It's the same worth that you have now in the middle. That you have to do your best where you are, wherever you're placed. You have to be faithful with what you're given. Before God can entrust you the big stage, He has to see that you value all the little stages that He gave you first. Obedience and gratitude and trust in the Lord attracts favor.
I wanted to make my music be the kind of friend to people that I never had. I wanted it to be a source of comfort because I knew how it felt to be lonely. I knew how it felt to have your career go nowhere. I knew how it felt to dream and then nothing's happening.
My life story, I believe, is one of God's ways of proving that He is faithful. That everything works together for the good of those who love Him. And the very first verse, Miss Karen, that I ever memorized in my life. This is, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And I've always known of this verse. And you know, pag matagal mo nang memorize yung isang bagay, hindi mo siya nananamnam kasi sanay ka nang sabihin. But as I grew older, I realized that it didn't say trust in God when it's comfortable. It said trust in God and lean not on your own understanding. Meaning, when things are rough, when you don't understand, pag wala ka ng sagot sa lahat ng tanong mo, then you still trust Him.